Now, challenges in the music industry regarding the governance of royalties will come to the spotlight this week. The information regulator is conducting public hearings on allegations of refusal of access to records relating to the license fees and copyright royalties collected. The non-payment of royalties led to artists being disgruntled by many issues relating to the royalties owed to them. Let's discuss this further now. I'm joined by Mukelani Dimba. He is the executive responsible for the education and communication at the information regulator. Mukelani, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Before we talk about the public hearings themselves, just school us a little bit here on license fees and copyright royalties for those many people that are not involved in the entertainment industry.
Oh, thank you so much. Let me put it like this. Each time you watch a video on TV or each time you hear a song on radio, somebody needs to be paid what is called royalties for their work. Remember that our musicians and artists, they do this for the love of the art, but also they are rightfully entitled to be paid for their work. This is a profession, after all. So whenever you experience creative items such as music on your radio or watching a music video on TV, the artist needs to be paid for the work that they have done. Essentially, this is how one would describe the issue of copyright royalties insofar as the music industry is concerned.
Okay, fantastic. So now RISA Audiovisual Licensing NPC, they collect that money from your TV stations, your radio stations and so forth. That is correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So talk to us about the public hearings now. Why?
So the public hearings are part of an investigation that the information regulator is conducting in response to a complaint that we received from a member of the public on this particular issue. Just to give some background, the complainant in this case is a owner of a company that is a rights holder in terms of various music and music videos that was produced under the record label Bula. So what the complainant wanted to know from Ravi, which is a collecting agency, was information related to how much money had been collected by the agency on the basis of usage of material by this recording company to which they have rights as shareholders. And they also wanted to get records of how much usage did broadcasters make of music and videos produced by this record company. And they were denied access to this information. And I need to add that this request was made in terms of the Promotion of Access to Information Act, which is what is called PAIA. Now, PAIA is one of those pieces of legislation that we as the information regulator are responsible for. We have a role to monitor implementation and to enforce rights in terms of this legislation. So the complainant was denied access to this information and they filed a complaint with us.
Did Ravi give a license, the audiovisual licensing NPC? Did they give a reason why they were not giving them access?
So this is where it gets interesting because PAIA, which I referenced earlier, it is intended to give effect to the constitutional right of access to information. So everyone has a right of access to information. When it's information held by a government department, for example, you don't have to explain why you want the information. But when it's information held by a private entity or private body, such as a company, an independent company, you have to show why you need this information. What right do you seek to protect by accessing this information? So this is where it got tricky in terms of this request, because Ravi, being a private body, said the requester has not shown what rights they want to protect by accessing this information, and therefore the information was denied.
Okay, so that Sounds very interesting, as you put it. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Interesting. So your hearings are taking place from today and tomorrow as well. May I assume that they've already begun? Have you whom are you inviting to your hearings? Whom do you want to hear from, and where are they taking place, by the way?
We are hearing from the industry itself, recording companies. We have Ravi, which is going to present their evidence tomorrow, together with the complainant. But today we've had evidence from broadcasters. The public broadcaster came through to present evidence. We've had the musicians trade union present evidence, and we're going to be hearing from individual artists and musicians tomorrow. Basically talking about their own experiences in trying to access information that they need to defend their livelihoods. And so these investigations are ongoing. We are inviting statements from artists that have not been able to present evidence today or will not be able to do so tomorrow, but the investigation is continuing.
Just a quick one. I mean, most of us don't realize just how crucial and how important what we're speaking about is to, the entertainment industry, to musicians, whether you're listening on Spotify and so forth. This is where they derive their money. This is where they make their living. This is their survival, is it not?
Absolutely. This is how they earn livelihoods. As I said, a lot of our creative industry practitioners, musicians, artists, all sorts of people partaking in the creative industry sector, they do this because they have talent to be able to do this. But they also do this in order to earn livelihoods. Now, I don't need to explain to South Africans the tragedy of hearing of artists dying in poverty, in abject poverty. And it just doesn't make sense, because these people are popular, they're famous, we love their music, but at the end of the day, they need to be able to earn a living out of their creative works. And so there is a need to introduce a level of transparency, accountability, and openness in the sector in order to protect and defend livelihoods.
Okay. All right. Interesting speaking with you there. And the hearings are taking place today and tomorrow. Mukelani Dimba, executive responsible for education and communication at the Information Regulator, holding those hearings, pretty critical hearings as well.